All right, Candace Owens, suspended from YouTube over Kanye West interview, immediately blames Zionists. Now, I don't know that she literally did blame Zionists. She said we all know who's behind this, but I think she then posted an image showing like people who are Jewish trying to report her video. I'm going to start off by saying this. They should not have taken her video down. Kanye West is one of the most famous people in the world. Candace Owens, in her own right, is one of the most famous people in the world. Now, with the caveat of, it's a big list, but Candace Owens is massively famous. And they want to have a conversation. They should be allowed to have a conversation. YouTube issued a strike, a suspension, and removal of her video. So she can't do the show for a week. And they removed her from the YouTube partner program. Now, I'll say this. I think it is fine that YouTube removed her from the partner program. I roll my eyes a little silly, but having YouTube do ad sales for you is very different from having your speech revoked or shut down, right? They should not have banned Candace Owens for this. Shout out to Dave Smith. He said, this is appalling. There you go. He says, this is appalling. Where are all those anti-woke free speech warrior Zionists now? They are probably all thrilled about this because they never really believed in free speech. YouTube should correct this immediately. Silencing speech that you disagree with is despicable and makes the world a worse place. So Candace Owens tweeted, there will be no show today or at all this week. That's because YouTube has issued me a strike and a 1-week suspension for my sit down with Kanye. They also removed the interview as hate speech as it was mass reported by Zionists. Their tactics never change. So she literally did blame Zionists. Additionally, the video, here's what it says from YouTube. Candace Owens episode 42 has been removed from the Candace Owens YouTube channel because it violates our hate speech policies. YouTube does not allow content containing conspiratorial claims that individuals or groups are evil, corrupt, or malicious based on their protected group status. Specifically, the video in question contains claims that Jewish people control the media. Okay. I just can't stand this stuff, dude. What I can't stand about it is the conflation of people who are Jewish with the Jewish people. Like, I'll say that right away. I worked for a media company. It's called Fusion. And guess what? I got to tell you a secret. It's actually not a secret at all. The heads of the company were Jewish. I don't care. I got to report on whatever I wanted to report on. Ultimately, I don't think the job worked out all that well. But guess what? Here's another secret. This may surprise you. But Vice.com was not run by Jewish people. And that's what I can't stand about it. Certainly, there are people in media who are Jewish, but I don't care if you want to point out that the president of this company or this media company is Jewish. I don't care. Just as long as you clarify there's a difference between the Jewish people and people who are Jewish. Then I'm totally like, by all means, okay? The problem ultimately comes down to, in my opinion, that they don't draw that distinction. And maybe some do, but sure, when I have the conversation with people about this, they say, like with Kanye West coming on the show, he's like, who is they though? And I'm like, the corporate press and Democrat politicians. And he got mad and he stormed off. And I'm like, dude, if you can't handle the conversation, have a nice day. So we had Kanye West on the show. This is like, what, almost 2 years? No, yeah, almost 2 years ago now, was it? Was it that long ago? Man, it was a while ago. Yeah, was it 2022? Maybe it was 23. I don't know. I barely remember. Time's flying, But here's the funny thing. I think Ben Shapiro should debate Candace Owens because you take a look at how these things go down. When Kanye West comes on the show and respectively and calmly, he says, who is they though? And then I'm like, the corporate press, political elites. And then I think Fuentes said something like, really? You really think that? And I'm like, yes. What? And then Ye was like, I'm out of here. I can't handle this. Talk about, Ye. Weakness. You can't actually stand by what you believe. You guys fall into this rabbit hole. You start believing these things and you can't stand up to it. Okay. Ben Shapiro should debate Candace Owens. Candace Owens wanted to debate. And I think it would be a great conversation. Now, here's the thing, right? Let me see if I can find this quote. All who watched that podcast know that Ye was calm and filled with love, speaking about the world coming together to defeat evil. Yeah, that's the thing, man. Now, look, she's talking about Zionists, and there's a difference between Zionists and Jewish people. I'm not accusing Candace Owens of having said that. I don't know exactly what she said, okay? It looks like YouTube may be conflating Jewish people with Zionists too, which is a problem. But I got to tell you, here's my view on this one. Any special interest group would do the same thing. When she says their tactics never change, this is the stuff that I just can't stand Israel derangement syndrome. I don't like wokeness. I don't like this acting like literally only Zionists do these things. Okay? So a bunch of people flagged Candace Owens' video and it got taken down. I have skateboarders doing that to me. I just can't stand it, man. I'm going to stress this again. The video should not be removed, should not be suspended. I believe in free speech. Actually, I like Israel. I don't know much more to say about that. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, woo, go Israel. I don't know enough about it, really care. But, slightly positive view of it. The war is something else. Definitely Israel is deserving of criticism in the conflict and the war for everything that's going on because war is war. You know what I mean? But I would say this, and many others too, I think, who are critical of Candace's view would agree she should not be suspended or taken down. Now, to be fair, I have long maintained that you have no right to the YouTube Partner Program. This is YouTube doing ad sales for you. It's a great benefit, but there's two distinct things here. Candace, her show is still big. She can do her own ad sales, and she'll probably make more money that way. That's true. I don't see YouTube as having an obligation to sell ads on your content. So, that's fine. But please, my friends, let me read a little bit more what she said, and then I'll give you my thoughts. They say, Owens posted shortly after that YouTube had also demonetized her account, which has 2.4 million followers. Thus far, I've had 0 strikes on my YouTube creators account. I've now been inundated with 3 back-to-back content hits within minutes, plus an email that I'm now fully demonetized. We all know exactly who is behind this and why. Owens, who was fired by the Daily Wire after publicly feuding with Ben Shapiro. I got to wonder where all this comes from. Because we were talking about this last night in the members-only show at Timcast.com. Sign up at Timcast.com. I wonder if what really happened with Candace Owens is that she got into it with Ben Shapiro. That personal animosity with Ben opened this door to Zionism and Jews and things like this, which led her to increasingly focusing more and more heavily on this. I got a question. Why? For real, why? Here's a question. Candace Owens, I had praised Candace Owens when she was at the Daily Wire. We went there, I went on her show, and I thought she was brilliant. She had been talking about core political American issues that, in a way that I completely agreed with. There were things that she had said, in her opinion, I was like, that reflected my own opinions. And I was like, well, right there, I'm like, you are correct because you agree with me, right? I'm literally saying my opinions make me think someone is, like, if someone repeats my opinions, I think they're probably smart. Like, duh, right? So she's talking about politics and she says, here's what I think about this, that, or otherwise. And I'm like, yeah, I agree with that. It's the correct assessment, right? You're smart. Why then, after being a broad political commentator, do you get involved in overtly talking about Israel and Zionism so often? This is why I say I think a lot of this, and again, I don't want to throw Candace Owens under the bus or anything like that. I don't know exactly. I don't watch her show, so I think it'd be unfair to say that she's the only thing she's talking about. But I want to say this in a general sense to a lot of the people who only ever talk about Israel and only ever think that Israel, or they believe that Israel is everything. It's just Israel derangement syndrome. Example, I tweeted, trollingly, Slava Ukraini, woo! I don't really care about Ukraine at all. I don't like that Russia invaded Ukraine. I think Russia was in the wrong. We had this discussion the other night with Raheem Kassam, and he said, yeah, but the U.S., stages a coup. That's hard power. And I'm like, Russia and the U.S. and the West, they're doing the same things in Ukraine, and Russia lost the subterfuge and manipulation, so they resorted to direct invasion. Wrong. That's wrong. I hope Ukraine wins. However, I don't want to spend the money on it. I don't want to be involved in it. But of course, the U.S. international hegemonic interests favor this. So they've not given us a legitimate casus belli or declaration of war for our involvement. So I could go on and on and on, but I don't care. Don't want to be involved. But I think Russia's in the wrong. For Israel, October 7th. How about that? So now Israel's just like, it's over. They're not tolerating it anymore. And it's become just brutal. It's war, and war is bad. Well, don't start a war. And then everyone wants to go back to history. And I'm like, dude, I don't have anything to do with it, man. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. But here's the point. I tweet Slava Ukraini. Nobody cares. I tweeted I'm Israel Chai. And it's nuts, dude. The death threats. I got to be light. They're not literal death threats. They're like wannabe death threats. The emails, just like the messages. Yo, people lost their minds over this one. And that's what gets me. And that's what makes me so happy to troll. You want me to say I'm Israel Chai over and over and over again? I tell you, that's how you make me do it. Because it's a country that I don't care about. Like, I've been there, so I have like a slightly positive view of it. I had falafel and went to I thought I was walking around and there were cats and, it was cool. It was good. Tel Aviv was fun. And I believe they have a right to defend themselves. But I largely just don't care to be involved in that stuff. I think America should secure its borders, spend its money on itself and all that stuff. So I have no real interest in flying the Israeli flag or anything like that. But I assure you, the one way to make sure I do is to do exactly what you're doing. Okay? Because you really want, I'll go for it. I'll just say, I'll tweet it again. Don't tell me. I can tweet whatever I want. But man, people lost their minds. Dude, people hate Israel. Yeah, and look, man, I think people get trapped. They get trapped in this worldview. It is nuts. There are people who have super chatted this show being like, I will vote for Kamala Harris, or I was Biden at the time. I will vote for Joe Biden if he's anti-Israel. And it's like, well, he's not, but are you joking? You would burn this country down. Yes. Like, you hate America that much that you would vote for Kamala Harris or Joe Biden? Because they hate Israel more. Nah, not interested. So I'll tell you again, let me give my final thoughts just to clarify. I don't know exactly what Candace Owens has said in the greater detail. So I don't want to just do a general condemnation because I don't know. And I think it's fair to say her show should be up. She should be allowed to have his opinions, say her opinions, speak them. And I think I'll say it like this, man. When Ye was on my show and I gave him the teeniest bit of pushback that I was like, no, I don't think that's right. He stormed off. He couldn't handle the heat. He couldn't handle it. Nick Fuentes stormed off too. Come on. And everyone's like, Tim, book Nick. Nick left. He got up and left. Come on. He had the opportunity to be there. He didn't want to be there. He'd rather be with Ye. They didn't want to have the conversation. The moment I said, I don't think that it is the Jews controlling everything. Silly. We ended up looking up who runs the banks, and it's all Irish people. It's just so dumb. Guys, let me tell you, Israel's got a lobby. There's questions about AIPAC. They spend a lot of money. They were spending a lot of money, Israeli special interest groups to oust members of the squad. This is politics. There are massive special interests spending massive amounts of money. If you want to argue that they should register under FARA, I'm listening. If you want to argue that they're powerful and they're lobbying the U.S. government for support, absolutely, and I'm listening. Let's have that conversation. But the idea that they are secretly in control of everything is just, y'all got to calm down. I think that stuff's silly. But we'll wrap it up there. Smash the like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with your friends, become a member at timcast.com. Support our work. We got another segment coming up for you in a little bit. But for everybody else watching live, we will now go to your super chats.